It's a growing problem in Alamo Heights schools and other school districts, but Alamo Heights is tackling the dangerous trend head-on in a first-of-its-kind approach.
I am a senior and I'm in recovery from addiction. I started using when I was about 14. I was in 7th grade, and I was just so lonely because I had this feeling that I was an outsider, and I could float from table to table to table of different groups every single day, and it didn't matter where I sat, and I didn't feel comfortable with anybody. I wanted the feelings that I had to go away, and for however long that lasted with the drugs, that's what made it go away. But I didn't realize that with that first drug would come with everything else that went with it. And that's where it went wrong. It was in January of last year. My friend Carson died, and she was only like 16. She died of this addiction, but I got to overcome it. And how is that fair?
She died by herself. She was in her room by herself, overdosed on a drug. We're not sure where she got it.
Her life made a big difference. Shortly after Carson died, Natalie went to treatment. So we won't forget her.
My name is Dwight Chumbley. I am a resident of Alamo Heights. I'm actually an alumni of the Alamo Heights High School. My oldest son, Cage, loved Alamo Heights. He loved the high school. And you know, from all appearances, everything was going fairly well for us. Suddenly, we started seeing some things that were different. Cage got a little dark sometimes. He got a little depressed. Started kind of a beginning of a spiral downward, and we didn't really know what it was other than things weren't going as well for him as we thought at school. And little did we know, and within probably a month or two from noticing these things, we found out that he had been using cocaine. What really concerned me more than anything at this point was that he had been doing it at the high school around other kids, and we didn't know about it. And we knew what kind of district Alamo Heights was. We knew everybody knows each other. It's kind of a small town feeling. And yet no one was talking about this issue. We had seen Cage come in and out of these relapses like we had been trained, put him into a therapeutic school in Virginia, and pretty much Cage never came back to the school district. He was released and within 10 days used again his last trip and died on March 16th of 2011, which was his day before his 21st birthday. I'm here to tell my story, and I volunteered to do it. I do it for, I think it's the only way I can honor my son the way I want to, that he would want me to. And he was a very, very creative person, and he would be very, very touched knowing that his school district that he loved so much was pushing this effort.
I've known for many years that we've had a drug and alcohol issue in our community. We have a national drug and alcohol issue, but we didn't have the resources to really address the problem like it needed to be addressed. And we were going through, at the same time that these funerals occurred, we were going through a strategic planning process in our district. And we just decided with our community and our teachers and our board that we were going to be different from other communities, that we were going to take this issue on head on, and we wanted to make sure that our kids had the education that they needed, the interventions that they needed, and the support that they needed if they had drug and alcohol issues. We had the Yes Group come forward, wonderful moms, hearing what the strategic plan was and said, we want to talk to you and see what we can do to support you. Here's a list of things that we want to share that we think the district ought to do.
All of us are the mothers of recovering addicts or alcoholics, and all of us were in varying stages of our children's recovery or not.
My son was coming back home to live after a time at a therapeutic boarding school, and so we wanted to make sure that there was something out there for these kids to come back to that was helpful, not just putting them back in the exact same environment that they had left. We were asked to come and sit down with Dr. Brown and with I think another member of the foundation. What was unusual and surprising and we were delighted to hear was that their list had pretty much tracked everything that we wanted to see in the community, almost down to the last detail.
So this is great. We have a meeting of the minds. Where do we go from here? How do we get this started and how quickly can we get it started? And he said, we don't have the money within the district allocated for this now. You all feel like you can go raise the money. And we said, we do.
We set about raising the money to ultimately hire Michelle Gomez.
I came on to the school district really without any clear understanding of how to create a program like this. We wanted it to be an intimate campaign, something that was about building relationships. The whole first semester of our program, I literally went door to door. Hello, my name is Michelle. I'm a social worker. Can I come in and talk with you about heroin? We asked parents to invite their neighbors to come have these conversations. We called them the kitchen table talks because we literally sat at the kitchen table and talked about what are the dangers facing your children. My definition of success in this program is that we are talking about drugs and alcohol, that we are not forgetting about the students who have died, that we are not forgetting about their parents, and that every day we are open to having conversations about the reality of the shame and the hurt and all of that comes with addiction.
It's really good to be able to talk to my peers about what I think about drugs and hearing what they think about drugs and being able to talk about it freely and openly and not have to worry about what is going to be said.
I wish we had had a Michelle when my son was at Alamo Heights. I'm convinced if he had had someone like her there, we could have gotten to this a little earlier. I am convinced of that. And I'm hoping that having Michelle there in the district can help these kids that are thinking about using drugs the way my son did and then backing away and deciding not to. I miss my son every day. He was a very, very good boy.
Without this program, students would not be able to get these services. Students would not be able to attend 12-step meetings in high school. They would not be able to get the treatment that they need, and they certainly would not be able to be having the conversations that we're having, the honesty and the level of intimacy with which we're talking about drugs and alcohol.
So what I want you to know about this is that this is a community initiative. It's something our entire community has gotten behind to say we want to take on drug and alcohol issues with our kids. We know the program won't go away because the problem won't go away, and we hope that you will give to this program, give generously to this program, because our kids will be the beneficiaries of that.
Thank you for everyone who has helped out to keep this program the way it is and to help make this program even better. It has helped me so much with my life. I'm now almost 10 months sober.